Because you got Israelites that presume to be heathen, that'll walk past, they'll come up and talk to him, and they'll be like, yeah, I try to follow God's laws. And they'll say, man, these laws ain't for you. Go ahead. Do what you got to do. Live your best life, right? So you're promoting wickedness when the Most High God himself hasn't given anybody a license to sin, right? So if the Most High God hasn't given nobody on the planet a license to do sin or wickedness, how can you then tell a person, go ahead, live your best life, don't worry about God's law, right? Who's doing that? But Matthew 18 and verse 21. So this is going into forgiveness. And this is one of the key things of the gospel of the kingdom, forgiveness, right? This is one of the key things. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him till 7 times, right? So Peter is saying, Lord, I know you talking about we got to forgive, but how many times are we supposed to do this? 7 times? Is that good enough? Will 7 times suffice? Right? Yahushua said unto him, I say not unto thee 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. So Yahushua said, not 7 times, but 7 times 70, right? 7 times 70. Now, either way, you could take that literal, or you can take that as just a complete number, as in there's no amount. Either way, 70 times 7 is a lot of times to forgive somebody. I don't think a person can ever transgress a person 70 times 7, right? Let me see, how much is that? Let me see, 7, 1, 2, 3, 350, 350, 90, that's about 600, right? 70 times 7, that's about 600. That's not the exact number in that area, right? I ain't the best at math, but it's around 600, right? So even if, how many people you know is going to willing to forgive somebody just 600 times, right? Matter of fact, let's say 500. How many people you know is going to forgive somebody 500 times, right? People today, man, they ready to kick you out and be done with you 1 to 3 times, and they're done. 1 to 3 times, and then they're like, yeah, we're done here. You're doing too much, right? Well, that's not of Yahushua, right? And you're not getting down with the kingdom, right? Because it says 70 times 7, right? So 5 ain't it, 3 ain't it, 2 ain't it, 1 definitely ain't it, 30 ain't it, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300. Those aren't the numbers you can stop at, right? You got to keep going. You got to keep going, okay? Forgiveness is key. And they're going to break down why. It says, Matthew 18:23, therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much, now 10,000 talents is like equivalent today to about $1 million, right? It's a huge number. It's a huge number. It's nothing that the average man can. There's no job the average man like me. If I work a regular 9 to 5, there's no way I can hit that number. If I worked my whole life, if me and my family, matter of fact, It would have to be me, my wife, some our children, their children probably, right? We will all have to have jobs and save up every dime for probably about 50 years. They probably pay that number off with a regular 9 to 5, right? So that's how huge that debt is, right? So it says, but for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife, and his children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant, therefore, now, when you look at this, what do you see, right? Since the man had this debt, right? Since the man had this debt, he said him, his wife, and his children are to be sold off, right? Because a lot of people think, well, the Lord, a lot of people, you got people who think like in a household, like it's starting from the top, right? More times than not, it's starting from the top. It's clear that this family was probably moving on the same accord, right? Because you got examples where Yahushua, he took away women. He took, well, specifically one. I'll say specifically one case. Matter of fact, I'll say two cases. You got one where Ananias and his wife, right? Ananias died, and the Lord gave his wife a chance to basically tell the truth, and she was going to be delivered from that situation, but she lied too. That's one case. And you had another case where it was a wife of a certain man during the time of where David, where I'm not sure if David was king or not. I didn't read the story. The story was told to me, but matter of fact, I think he was king. So the lady, the wife, was helping out King David. I believe the wife was helping out. I was told the wife was helping out King David. But long story short, the husband was doing very bad. He was doing bad things, and the Lord ended up killing him and giving her to King David. Right? I believe that's how it went. But the point is that the Lord, if you got one party doing what they're supposed to do, and judgment comes, and a negative judgment comes down, more times than not, he'll deliver the people out who were doing good in the situation. Like if it was a husband who was doing wickedly and a wife was doing righteous, right? He would save the wife's life and the children and remove the husband out the picture. He'd be gone, however way he does it, right? But you see, in this case, the Lord was ready to sell off the women, the children, everybody, right? So they were probably all in on this debt, whatever was going on, which we know this debt is, he said, talents. So everybody was probably in on whatever was going on. Everybody was probably in on it, right? It says, the servant fell down and worshiped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. The Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosened him and forgave him the debt. So that huge debt, millions of that equivalent today to be millions of dollars, right? Because he basically humbled down and was remorseful and showed and basically said with his mouth and I guess his actions and his demeanor, he showed that he was sorry. He wanted to make amends and he was going to do better. So through that, the Lord was like, you know what? Don't even worry about paying me back, right? I'll wipe the debt clean. Don't even worry about it. You're good to go, right? So it says, but the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence, and he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, pay me that thou owest. So 100 pence, when I looked it up, it was just like pocket change. When I looked it up, it was like pocket change, right? So the servant, let's say servant A, was forgiven millions of dollars worth of debt, right? He went out and found servant B and said, hey, servant B, you owe me $5. Grab him by the throat. He said, pay me what you owe, right? and his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, have patience with me, I will pay thee all. So the same thing